Hey guys, how is it going? So we're repairing a TR4 Boot Lid, and this belongs to my friend John Lille, and this meant to be a private video for John only, and I didn't record any intro for it, and I didn't even take pictures of the condition of the lid before I started working on it because, like I said, it was meant to be only for John. But now I decided that I'm gonna post this video on my YouTube channel, and unfortunately I can only show you these pictures that John sent to me before I got the lid, so I can assess it a little bit. And here you can see that the bottom edge of the lid started rusting from inside out, and the lip that is overlapping this stiffener started lifting, and even on the outside the metal started bubbling, so that's why the whole repair needed to happen. So anyways, let me take you through the process. Hey John, I just want to give you an update. So I stripped the bottom lip or bottom end, whatever you want to call it, and there's this dent here at the end. Looks like hammer marks, and it was filled with body filler, so I'll see if I can do something about it. But the two indents here, remember that you had a little indent, looks like these are spot welds that hold this piece inside. There's one, two, and another one here, 3 spot welds. There's nothing on this side. Oh, maybe there's one here. And let me flip it on the other side and I'll show you what's going on there. So here, the 2 spot welds were right here where the hammer marks were. I thought these were brazing or something, but actually these were just hammer marks. And I don't know if that was the spot welder. I don't know. So now I opened this a little bit. I managed to open the lip without cutting anything, and now this end is flexing, but this end is not moving because of the spot welds. So I'm gonna have to drill, I'm guessing I'm gonna drill this piece a little and try and remove the spot welds so I can take this piece out, and then we will see. But it looks like the rust is not gone through the other side. But anyways, when I remove this piece we can see it better, and we're gonna find out if I need to replace any metal or it just requires good cleaning and rust converting and painting maybe. We will see. Okay, I drilled the 3 spot welds that I found, and I don't think there are any more, and now we can remove this together. John, I think you're lucky. I think the rust is only on this piece, and it started just bubbling and expanding this and creating just waves, but I think the outer metal is solid, so we might only need to repair this, assemble it, and you're gonna be fine. And about that, I think there was a spot weld here too where the dent on the outside is, but now we can just hammer and dolly it out and it's gonna be fine. So you see, the metal is pitted here in this area. The pits are a little bit deeper. That's the entire thing, and this is where that dent on the outside is. But I don't know, I'm debating here whether I should change the metal or just paint this and put it back together, because I'm worried that if I start, I need to replace the whole lip. Hold on, let me turn it this way now. I need to replace the whole lip from one end to the other, and that's gonna be a really long weld, and there's no way that I want to warp it. I don't know. Oh, there's a hole here actually. Yeah, so see, here there was something happening and there's a hole. Anyway, I'm going home now. I'm gonna think about it. What should I do here? And I'll be back on the weekend and I'm gonna do something, whatever I decide. Okay, it's the next day and I've decided I'm gonna have to change this lip. Here, especially here, it's really pitted and I'm afraid that if we don't do anything now, it might start rusting again and go through. So we're gonna have to change it. I'm just worried about the shape of the whole thing underneath. I don't want to warp it or anything, but you know, we're gonna have to take the risk. So for this reason, we have to take some safety measures here to keep the shape, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. So for now, I believe we still have the right shape here because this stiffener piece, it is not flexible at all. So that will be the guide for our shape. And you see now that we removed it, actually the lid changed its shape a little bit. So I can push it up, and I don't know if you see over there, but when I push up here, it changes there. And it flexes here too. But anyways, this is our shape. So now we're gonna clamp it here and we're gonna draw the whole shape also on this, so we can make sure that at the end we have the same shape. So that's gonna be like a double safety, you know. Once we're gonna rely on this piece to keep our shape, but second we're gonna draw it and we're gonna keep a pattern. And we're gonna also have to repair this piece, so I'm hoping that we're not gonna change the shape while repairing it. That's why we're gonna make sure that the lid comes back to this shape before we repair this piece. So now I believe we should have done that before we took it apart, but I wasn't expecting actually to start welding. I was expecting to just clean it up, paint it and assemble it again, but it looks like we're gonna need to paint. So anyways, now we have to do it this way. So this is our shape. Also very important, we're gonna mark the center. So this is where our lock is. Because if we move it a little bit, the shape doesn't change much. It looks like a constant radius of a huge circle, but just in case, we're lining it up here at the center. That's it. Okay. So now we can we're gonna take care of the stiffener later. And now we're gonna mark our cut. I'm not gonna cut it yet. I wanna make the repair piece first before I cut it, but I wanna mark it. So let's say, I think we're gonna make about an inch. Wow, look, I opened it exactly an inch. It's in millimeters, but 968. Wow. I'm gonna make an inch cut and we're gonna repair this. That's also gonna solve this problem here and all other problems, hopefully. All right, so this is our line where we're gonna cut it, and maybe, you know, I shouldn't have taken out the piece because we want this to be in the exact shape. So I'm gonna put it back and we're gonna start making our repair piece. So Okay, that's really stiff now. So I'm not gonna go in the curves here. I'm gonna go only to here, where it is pretty much straight. The corners are pretty good, so we're gonna keep them. I'm gonna just repair where it is a pretty straight line, but we will see how straight it is when we start making the piece. So let me cut a piece of metal and we're gonna go from there. Alright, so I cut a piece of sheet metal that is a little bit wider than our cut here. We're gonna shorten it after, or maybe we can cut this higher. We will see what we're gonna do. But first we're gonna shape it to this shape. I think we have to bend it in this direction, but also it needs to bend in this direction a little bit, I think, because, or maybe not, we will see. We will start bringing it slowly back to shape on our shrinker. So now we're starting by shrinking this lip. This is the lip that's gonna point down. I'm leaving it longer on purpose now, because it's gonna be stiffer while we are welding the other side, and then we're gonna cut it down to 1/2 inch or whatever it needs to be. So for now I'm gonna leave it longer, and it's easier also for shrinking. So now, to bring the two ends down, we need to shrink this. You understand what I mean? When you shrink it here, this is gonna bring the two ends down. So we're gonna start very gently, because the curve is not too big. We can always go back and stretch it if we need to, but I'd rather do it right the first time. So you see it's almost invisible, but it starts curving. You can look at it this way. See, it starts curving already. See, it's curved. So needs more, of course. But from what I'm seeing here on the mark, the curve is pretty consistent all over the place. It's not more in the center and less in the sides. Looks like it is consistent. And we overdid it. We can verify what we're doing here. And you see, we overdid it a little bit. So we're gonna literally stretch it back. So this half is pretty good. Here we go in and then we go out again. So I'm gonna have to stretch here and shrink here. Actually, it looks like it's dipping here a little bit, and when I touch, I actually can feel that. This line, if you can notice here, it is not consistent. Here it goes in a little bit, right here. It goes in and then out again. So I'm gonna just ignore that dip here. So you see we're matching this shape now. You don't see very well. We are matching this shape now. If you can see well, I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but so we are seeing the black line and just a little bit of the white all over the place, except here. But here I can clearly see that this line is inconsistent. It goes in and out, and I can feel this by doing this. And there's also, this is where one of the spot welds was. So I'm just gonna ignore this bit because I don't like it. It goes in and out. So this direction is done. When you put it here, it matches pretty well. The thing is now, we have to also adjust this, which is really, really small. Again, we have to shrink here so it can, the two ends will go up. So my way, I'm gonna shorten it a little. This is where my cut is gonna be, and that's, I'll show you underneath what happens there. I don't want to go further than this line. So now when we position it here, I'm gonna mark here. And here, cut it. Still wobbles, so I'm gonna bend it just a little. Okay, so I'm gonna shorten this to 1 inch now, and I'll see how it matches with our line. But I'm gonna shorten this to less than 1 inch now. I want to have a little gap between the two metals when I'm welding. So I'm gonna go to, I don't know, 900. So now, when I put it on, it matches, like it leaves really consistent gap here between the first line that I marked here and the cut. Good, so now I'm gonna take out the stiffener, we're gonna cut it down, and we're gonna go from there. There you go. One out, one in. Let's see how it fits. Curious. Like a glove, right? The only question is, can we weld it without warping? I'm gonna use these babies. Really useful pieces. Okay, you still here, guys? Yeah. So now we can check, since we made a line here at 1 inch before we cut it, and I can still see this line because I cut just below it. I can double check and make sure that this line is now still at 1 inch from the edge. Well, I think we are perfect. I can start tacking it only where it lines up. So let me set up my welder and everything. I'm gonna come back and I'll tell you what we're gonna do this time. I'm gonna be extremely careful. Like on my cars, I'm trying to be careful, but you know, sometimes I'm rushing it. Here, because it's not my car, I'm gonna make sure like it is perfectly matching where I'm welding it. Okay, we're set up here with welder and everything, but I have one worry here. Every time I weld, my welds start to dip in from heat, from overheating, from whatever. Slowly, as I'm making progress, my two metals start to dip in here, and I end up with a little valley. So it's not too bad because you can always fill this up with body filler after, but I will try this time to make everything possible to prevent that from happening. Because you see, this, I can still bend it. Even though I can align the two pieces, when I do this, I can feel that it goes down and then up again. So I need it to stay this way. So that's why I'm thinking if I clamp this like this, no, it can still bend up, but it can't bend down because it's hitting this piece here, you know? So now if we take a straight edge, there's absolutely no gap here next to it. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And for this reason, this clamp, somebody welded this before. It's not me, but now I can weld this as well. I can clamp it to make sure it is parallel, and I can weld it here too. Well, there was something there before. Anyways, let me weld that. I'm also going to be clamping it on the other side, so to make sure that my two metals are perfectly flush with each other. We're also going to be using air to cool it down, and we're going to be moving really slow. We're going to be tucking here, then here, then here, then there, like so we can really keep it cooled down. Right, now we have a tack every inch or so, and it is still in a good shape. I mean, it's not warped, there's no valleys or anything. I made sure that each and every tack is put after I line it up perfectly. So now we should be in a great shape. And if I keep going this slow, because that was extremely slow so far, but I'm not complaining, just I have to stay and I have to keep doing it this way, this slow, and hopefully we're not gonna warp it. I think we are doing a great job so far. So just have to stay slow and steady and keep cooling it down. All right, so I'm gonna keep going here, gonna show you some results later. Still in a good shape. All right, it's all welded. So now it's time to grind it. I think we didn't warp it, which is first for me actually. There's always, when I weld doors and stuff, like long stitches like that, I always warp them. I think we're good. Let me grind it and we will see. Right. It's actually not bad. I'm surprised. I know it's too shiny. I don't know if you can see it maybe this way, but it looks like it's pretty much okay. I opened a few pinholes while I was welding, while I was grinding, but we can fix those. I have to flip it on the other side and see what the situation is there too. Maybe we can weld them on the other side or fill them up from here. Like there's a pinhole here, and this is not a pinhole, but it is I don't know, needs to be filled, but most of it is fine, and I haven't even ground it properly yet. I'm gonna try and grind it a little bit more now, because I can feel here, for example, the stitch is higher. You see? I don't know if you see, like they're little, I don't know. It's pretty good so far. I'm gonna grind it a little bit more. I'm gonna fill the pinholes and we're gonna flip it on the other side. Okay, welded some holes on the outside, then I flipped it and ground down a little bit the inside. And I'm not gonna go too crazy here. Don't wanna make the welds too thin. So that's where we're gonna leave it. And yeah, I'm gonna double check now the shape, you know, this shape with our template, with the other piece, and then if everything is okay, we're gonna paint inside. We're gonna prime it, then later we're gonna paint it, and we're gonna work in the meantime on the stiffener piece. Okay, let's see if this is gonna fit. Like a glove. Wow, let me show you a close view. So this is how it fits. Wow, look. That's perfect. It touches everywhere. So you see why I didn't want to go further out than that. Here the metal is not that pitted, it's good, but I also didn't want to go into this shape here, this curvature. So now we can cut this down to the same height as here. Yeah, I'm happy. It lays down everywhere. I haven't even clamped it, and it's already laying down flat here. It's touching here. You see where the welds were, the spot welds were, and here. So I'm happy. I'm gonna cut it down, I'm gonna paint it, and we're gonna work on this. We have to repair this lip. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Probably I'm gonna have to, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I'm gonna have to cut a whole piece here off, a whole strip, and replace it. Yep. Okay, so I cleaned this piece a little bit, and it looks like we're gonna have to replace at least the bottom ½ inch, or a little bit more maybe, on this side as well. Yeah, I'd rather change that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take measurements here. We're gonna see how deep this is, so we can reproduce it after. So that's 926. .899. Okay, so it looks like it is about 900. I am gonna keep the curves so they can give me the height here at the side. I'm just gonna cut the part that we needed to cut. Okay, I'm gonna try and do a trick here. I don't know how well it's gonna work, but I will try anyways. So I'm gonna clamp this piece underneath. Okay. Looks like it's not a straight line. Okay, and I'm gonna cut them together. I didn't cut it here. I don't know if I showed you. I left a little corner here non-cut. I'm gonna cut it at the end. Just want them to stay together, you know. So now we have the perfect replacement piece for here. Lengthwise, widthwise, and everything. So I'm just gonna clean the burr and I'm gonna clamp it with those little clamps. With these clamps again to keep the distance, because now this needs to have one blade distance here, you know. So that's exactly what we're gonna do with this, and we're fine. There you go. Time to weld it. I'm gonna weld it on this side because I want this side to look better, because this is somewhat exposed. Some of it might be exposed. So I want it to look good. Again, we're gonna be clamping it and welding it. Alright, so this is painted and this is repaired now. I think it looks good. So let's just test fit it again to make sure that nothing changed. Which actually did. You see? So we're gonna have to bring it back to shape. I'm gonna try with the stretcher. Good thing we test fitted it before I cut it, so we know that our lid is in a good shape. Okay, a little bit more. Okay. So now we are where we were. You see? I think we are pretty darn good here. Okay. So now, we're gonna paint this now too. Especially we're gonna pay attention to this side because this is how it goes. So of course we want the part that gets pinched or that gets sandwiched in the fold. We need it to be painted, but it's very important also to paint this back part because they're not gonna have access to it later. So I'm just gonna clean it up. Yeah, time to marry them again. So I'm gonna see. Now we have to spot weld them, and you know the paint might be a little bit of a problem for the spot welds, but we shall see that. So again, we're gonna do 2 spot welds here to here, and that's it. Or at least we're gonna attempt, because we don't know if it is gonna work through the paint. Oh, it did. And now the hardest part for me. This is always the hardest part, to bend this in without making a mess on the outside. So we have to find the proper dolly for that. All right, so it's ready. I damaged it, of course. I'm not really happy with the ending of the whole story because I kept it nice and smooth all the time, and now at the end, with the dolly, with the hammer and the dolly, I dented it. So there are dents here, here, here. There are like many dents here now that need to be filled up with body filler. I don't know if you can see it like that. It's not a lot, but I can feel them, and that drives me crazy because it was nice and smooth all the time. But nothing I can do now. It's too late now. In general, I'm happy with how it turned. Let me flip it on the other side too. It's not bad. In general, I'm happy. But just those dents at the end, I wish I didn't make them. But anyways, so that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. So that's gonna be the end of this video. So thanks for watching. That's actually the lid of my friend's TR4. My friend's name is John. So that's the lid of his TR4, and today he's turning 82, my friend. So happy birthday, John.